Ramírez con la pelota. Otra vez el balón con Ramírez, el mismo Ramírez. Última línea, viene el tiro centro para el segundo, le va a pegar Renato, tiró, ¡gol! ¡Gol! ¡De Ecuador!
With the latest updates being done to the FIFA men's rankings on the 20th of June 2024, it shows that Ecuador and Jamaica are not on the same level. With Ecuador being ranked 30, Jamaica ranked 53, there is however a difference where the Copa America is concerned. Both teams start off their campaigns on a losing note. And coming on Wednesday, June the 26th, Jamaica and Ecuador will be facing off. However, who will take this one? Can Jamaica create a big upset? Join Premier 7 for the chat. Welcome to Premier 7. I am yet again your host, Ryan Nelson. Today I will be talking about, let's say, the preview between Ecuador and Jamaica, where the Copa America is concerned, but with the question, can the Reggae Boyz win? On the channel today, I will be dissecting this topic into 3 categories. Just a general talk, whereas the 2 teams are concerned with the Copa America, also a team assessment, and finally, can Jamaica win? However, people, if you're new to Premier 7, I am kindly asking you to subscribe. If you are already a subscriber, please go ahead and watch the content, like, comment, and share so that other persons can see. When that is being done, then YouTube will recognize that this channel is doing something quite convincing. Premier 7 is not only available on YouTube, Premier 7 is also on different platforms, TikTok, and on Instagram. You can check out the channel information in the video description down below. All right, so let's jump to the first point, whereas Ecuador versus Jamaica is concerned by way of a general talk. So Ecuador has lost their first game against Venezuela 2-1, with a red card being given to their captain, Mr. Valencia, who is absolutely instrumental to Ecuador. Whenever he plays, there's a difference. On the flip side, Jamaica has lost to their arch rivals, Mexico, 1-0, with a sublime goal by Ortega. It was disappointing to see Jamaica lose out, but let's say it would be expected that Jamaica could salvage a point or lose. However, the page has turned, and even though Ecuador and Jamaica is similar, whereas results are concerned in the Copa America, these 2 teams are not the same. I have to say, Jamaica and Ecuador has met on several occasions, not in excess of 4 times, but based on the recent results, I can remember Jamaica losing out 2-0 and also a 5-2, and before a 0-0 draw. So far it is in favor of Ecuador to have a victory if we should just conclude from that point. But Premier 7 has to go down the line and speak more value as to where the video and the content topics are concerned. So let me just bring up this key details here for the 2 teams. Here you can see the Copa America Group B fixtures, and of course, more specifically to the table. All right, so you can see that Venezuela is on top of things, followed by Mexico, with Ecuador being 3rd, Jamaica last. Will Jamaica finish without a point in Copa America? Will Jamaica get a point from Copa America? Can Jamaica get 3 points then from Copa America? So far, both teams are on a losing note. But let's assess the recent forms for both teams. It is seen here that for Ecuador, in the last 5 games, with Venezuela being more recent, they have lost. But against Honduras and Bolivia, they have won 2-1, 3-1. But against Argentina and Italy, two teams that are ranked above them, they have lost narrowly 1-0 and 2-0 respectively. So for Ecuador, we can say that, all right, they have played well against the teams for which they are ranked above, except from Venezuela. But whereas Argentina and Italy is concerned, by way of the knowledge, based on history and recent forms, we can conclude to say that Ecuador would have lost, or possibly would have lost against those two top teams. However, for Jamaica, their recent games, Mexico, normally a team that beats Jamaica, whether it's by 1-0 or more, Jamaica lost that game. They defeated Panama 1-0. They lost the United States. Oh my God. 3-1. And Trinidad, and there's a draw. Trinidad again, there is a 1-0 victory. So it is somewhat not the same for Mexico, for Ecuador and Jamaica. However, Jamaica, if I should assess them at this point, it shows that Jamaica would have possibly lost against Mexico and the United States. Surprisingly, they have won against Panama. But for Trinidad and Tobago, Jamaica drew and they have lost. They have won. So it is not so different from Ecuador and where Jamaica is concerned. Some persons will be saying, why is it that the two World Cup qualifying games are not shown? It is based on the source or the site for which I am using. So in this case, Ecuador has lost more than Jamaica, but have similar victories, whereas 2-2 victories are concerned. In that case, I want to say though that Ecuador and Jamaica, by way of a team assessment, I would just say right now that Ecuador has a better chance of winning against Jamaica based on the fact that they have played against some teams that are higher in rankings, better challenge, who can, give them that practice to push them and to show them where they need to improve and where they can continue from. All right. So, whereas the team assessment is concerned, I just want to use one of my preferred coming up just to speak directly about Jamaica and Ecuador. It is a preview, of course, and there will be some players who we have to look out for in this big clash that is coming up. And down below it is showing here that for Ecuador, Jeremy, he has played the newly promoted, well, he played for Ipswich Town and he has netted a goal for Ecuador already. And it shows that this guy is the man that they can or they will go for to score against any team that Ecuador will be coming up against, seeing that their captain is not available in Valencia. However, for Jamaica, we're seeing here in the source that Wait was outstanding. He was in place for the injured captain in Andre Blake, and boy, I tell you, this guy was absolutely amazing for the national team. He kept the opposition team very silent. And I think if he can come out and represent Jamaica the same way, because I think for Ecuador, they will be playing a bit more direct. So Jamaica has to be on their P's and their Q's. If Jamali Wade can basically do the same thing against Ecuador, it will be a blessing for the Reggae Boyz, as confidence will be there because the players will be forward in the game, not only against Ecuador, but also against Venezuela, and behind once Andre Blake is unavailable. So we can also see that Damian Lowe is back in the squad, seeing that he has returned from a knock in the World Cup qualifying games. Now we can understand if we did not know why he was absent from the starting 11 against Mexico. However, one of the men as well that we have to speak about is Shamar Nicholson. Shamar Nicholson is that man who was scored in both World Cup qualifying games for the Jamaica men's national team. However, he did not score against Mexico, but there was conviction that he have what it takes to do well in the game that will be coming up. Because we should not only rely on the stats to tell how well players are performing, even though it shows, but we have to use our naked eyes to make proper judgment and assessments of players as well. And to me, Shamar Nicholson can do something. So if you realize I was speaking about some key players that we should, look out for, and I want to just continue on that path. So I'm seeing here, and you also are seeing here, the teams that was being utilized against the opposition teams. So for Ecuador, 4-2-3-1 is the formation. For Jamaica, it is going to be, or it has been, a 3-4-2-1. Not bad formations, more balance is concerning for both teams because it is seen here that the teams are set up in a way whereas they can play to their best. All right, so for Ecuador, looking on the screen here, the goalkeeper, Dominguez, will be the main man between the sticks. Um, Back four isn't bad at all. The guy was called Angelo Priscadio. He played phenomenally well to me. Remember the World Cup qualifying, not the World Cup qualifying games, but the World Cup that was being played in Qatar, whereas Ecuador won 2 goals to nil. This guy was outstanding. And with Estopinan being out of the team, he was replaced by somebody who looks quite good in a Piero, who had a ratings of 7 against Venezuela. Pacho, Felix Torres will be back too. The man that we will all of us would more so know, Moises Caicedo. He received a high ratings of 7.40 against Venezuela. He will be that man who will be very direct and hard and rough against Jamaica in the Copa America second game. Beside him, you're seeing Alan Franco, who could be the weaker link, whereas Ecuador is concerned about up front. Jeremy, who scored a goal against Venezuela, will be starting if all goes well. Paz, Yebo, and up front, a Jordi Caicedo. That is not a bad team for Ecuador, even though, as I've mentioned before, well, 2 key players will be missing out in a Estupinan and their captain Valencia. But Ecuador, based on rankings, based on potential, based on how direct they can play with the team chemistry and understanding amongst each other, they can be a team that is going to be hard to play against. Now for Jamaica, looking on the team back, we have Jamali Wade, 8.2 ratings, absolutely above the norm. He played excellent. He was a cut above the rest. The back three, Bernard played well, even though he was substituted at the wrong time, 7.3 ratings. Latibodir did not look so bad. The rating showed that he wasn't outstanding compared to the others, but I was satisfied how he performed. Ethan Pinnock, coming back from an injury, did fairly well. The midfield three, Lembikisa, was performing excellent based on the ratings as well, only was outdo by weight. Bobby Reed, Palmer, and Lee average. Also up front, Nicholson, Demarai Gray. Demarai Gray coming back from an injury. Nicholson wasn't at his best, but they played convincing to some extent. And for me, Antonio ratings should have been different, but it was 6.80. However, Antonio was very much instrumental in the national team setup. There's going to be a point, though, for which I think that the teams may come to a point whereas based on assessment, based on watching how they play in their respective games before, changes could be made. Jamaica, maybe in the midfield. Ecuador, maybe they keep the same thing. But we never can tell. But certainly Jamaica may make a change. Damian Lowe may be fit enough. Jamaica needs to be rougher in the midfield. I guess he may drop in that spot to play alongside somebody else. I don't think Demarai Gray will be dropping though. I think his form will be better because he's coming back from an injury and he was really under lockdown against Mexico. Now, where the big question is concerned, can Jamaica win? The expectation is there that Jamaica, we're looking for them to be consistent with how they play, look more convincing on the front foot. We don't want for them to be playing too deep because playing too deep will bring on or attract pressure on ourselves. So we're trying to work, or we want for our team to work on playing a better line, assessing their team oppositions better, and making way for the midfield and for the front line to get chances to score. Jamaica have the potential to score goals against any teams, but the front line has to click in the right way. Jamaica has not been scoring goals, but we can score goals. Seeing that our midfield may be absent at times, but chances are created for them. The wingers aren't bad in a Bobby Reed, who plays on the right at times, and even for Demarai Gray on the left. Cephas may come in, Kaim Dixon may come in, but Antonio and Nicholson has to do something. Antonio could have scored, but it was an offside goal, but we can see he looked a bit sharper than the previous games in which he played for Jamaica. But the question, can Jamaica win, is still hanging. I won't say there's a chance really to win, but there could be a possible chance to salvage a point. 1-1 will not be the ideal victory, the ideal points that we would want to have, but come on, we have to take it step by step. We have to grow because Jamaica has yet to obtain a point in Copa America. We never gain a point, we never score a goal, so even a point against Ecuador, who has defeated us about 2 times in the past, we have to do something better this time around. So for you, you may be saying, based on emotions, Jamaica, I go beat them, but it has to be the reality. And Premier 7 is all about speaking what makes sense, right? So a draw could be the likely outcome, but I want a win, of course. But let's see what Jamaica will do on the day. People, it is time for me to go. However, I want to hear your say on the topic. Ecuador versus Jamaica Copa America 2024. Can Reggae Boyz win? It is for you to watch the video, make your assessment, drop your comments, and Premier 7 will be on board to participate. Take care and goodbye until we meet again.